Hey there, and welcome to the last day of ISTE 2017. We're here to walk through Code Builder and the tutorial world. So my name is Melissa Boone, and I'm a user researcher with Xbox Research. I work with Minecraft Education Edition, and I'm here with my friend and colleague.
I'm Matt Wolf. People call me Wolf. I'm the producer for Minecraft Education Edition, both the game and the Code Builder and Classroom mode, all that stuff all combined. And I'm excited to show you guys Code Builder today.
Awesome. So the first thing we're going to do now is work through Code Builder for you, and then after that, we're going to work through the tutorial world.
Awesome. Yeah, so what we have here, we launched into Minecraft Education Edition. We're on the play screen. We're going to go and hit play. If you want to play a new game, we're going to hit create new, and we're going to launch the agent trials. We're in here on the agent trials. There's a few game settings you could change, but yep. I'm going to duplicate my screen real quick for people.
See what we're doing.
Yep. There we go. How's that working for you? Not seen it yet? How's that? Nope. Sorry about the technical difficulties there.
Here we go.
See you in just a moment. Preparation.
Awesome.
Sorry for everyone watching at home. All right.
All right.
I think we're good now.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick step back to the play screen so you can see it from the beginning. So I've logged into Minecraft Education Edition, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play because I want to play a new game. And hit create new. And what we see here on our screen now, hopefully, back to everyone at home, is our template worlds. And we're going to choose the agent trials. When you get in here, there's a few in-game menus, items you could change. We're going to leave it default for right now so you can see what you might see in your classroom. I'm going to hit play. It's going to go ahead and load our world for us. When you get into the world, you're going to start in this very magnificent looking, Renaissance style castle. We've tried to build the agent world so it feels like the agent's in a Renaissance style fair and kind of competing each challenge as they go. The winner of last year's agent trials was Colton P. He's one of our designers, and so he won last year's trial. You can see all these boards around here that are explaining what you can do, and there's an NPC over here called the Royal Messenger. It's got some more information for you at home or in your classroom, but I'm going to go ahead and skip that stuff for today so we can jump right into walking the agent through the different challenges. So I'm going to walk forward here through the door, and I see the first challenge. Now, I don't have my agent with me. You can see that it's still Colton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit slash on the keyboard, and it brings up the slash command menu, and I'm going to type in slash code. I've launched Code Connection on my computer before, so slash code will now launch it for me and make the automatic connection. So I hit enter. You can see it's attempting to launch Code Connection. It pauses my game, and it launches Code Connection. By default, we have 3 different development environments. There's Make Code, which is by Microsoft. There's Scratch, which is by MIT, and we have Tinker on the far right-hand side. I'm going to show Scratch today, so I'm going to click on Scratch, and it's going to go ahead and launch into your default browser. Mine, by default, is Chrome, but you can also use Edge or any of the browsers you might want to use. So back in the game, now that I've made my connection, once I make my connection, the agent has now changed from Colton P to my name to show that now I'm friends with the agent, and now I'm controlling it.
You can see it through the wall there.
You can see it through the wall, so you always know where your agent's at, which is really great. Okay, so our first trial here, what we want to do is step on this little pressure plate. And the pressure plate's going to turn on these glowstone blocks. Right there, you see that? That's going to be your starting location for every challenge that you do. And for challenge 1, if I walk around, you can see at the end, there's a gold plate. And that's going to be the finish spot for most of the challenges that you do. Not all of them, but most of them. So I'm going to walk over to the first pressure plate, where we're going to start our game. And I'm going to call the agent to me. But what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to open my Scratch, and I'm going to half screen my Scratch. So I can see Scratch on one side, and I can see Minecraft on the other side.
So you're switching to another screen there, right?
I was, yeah.
How'd you do that?
On Windows, you can use Alt-Tab. So you hold down Alt and hit Tab, and it brings open this different Windows screen. And as I tab through each of them, I can select them. That's a great question. With Scratch, because we're using the experimental version of Scratch, it pops up a little warning. Go ahead and just I understand and continue. We built it, we certified it, we know it does what it's supposed to do. I'm also going to move this little arrow right here a little to the left. And what that's doing is giving me more workspace so I can move my command.
You did that just by clicking it.
It is just by clicking on it, yeah. feel free to chime in with that if I skip over a step. What we see here on the top left-hand corner, kind of in the middle, are different categories of commands and code. And the way Code Connection works is we're using a visual programming language, or VPL, to drag puzzle blocks onto our screen by just clicking and dragging. So I'm clicking and I'm dragging it around. This particular block is teleport to player, but any block I want, I can just click on the category and I can drag it onto my screen. This right here on the right-hand side is my workspace. So all the code in here is what I'll maybe call active code. And if I click on that code, it'll carry out the actual command. So for this one, I'm going to double click on it. If I go back into game, I now see the agent teleported right to me. I'm going to close that little pop-up there. So now I have the agent facing me at challenge 1. But I need it to turn a little bit to the left. So I need to find my turn left block. I'll go into more blocks. That's where our Minecraft blocks are at. And as you can see, they're colored their own special color. I'm going to grab the turn left command. And if you notice on the turn left, there's a little drop-down menu. I can turn it left or right. We'll turn it right just so you can see what that looks like. Turn right, now it's facing me. I'm going to turn it right again, and turn it right again so it's facing the right direction. If I go back into Minecraft, and what I want to do is get my agent all the way down this red carpet to the gold block. I've done this agent trials a bunch of times, but I'm going to go ahead and count how many blocks I need to get all the way down to the end. So 1 block, 2 block, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So for this trial, for this challenge, I need to get my agent 10 blocks down to the gold plate. Now I could bring out my move forward 10 times like this if I wanted to. What I found is that I actually like to use loops in this one. And so challenge 1 is talking to students about how to use loop commands. And as you can see, I already bought my repeat out. In Scratch, they call it repeat. Some people call it loops. They're interchangeable for this particular challenge. I'm going to take 1 move forward, put it in that repeat command. And I'm going to double click the repeat and watch my agent travel 10 blocks.
I see. And so even though you have other pieces of code in the window, only the one that you double clicked is the one that works.
Correct. And in Scratch, and the difference between MakeCode and Scratch and Tinker, they have different ways of running them. So while we're showing Scratch today, MakeCode allows you to actually send the agent a command via chat, and Tinker has different ways to start run on command and maybe on jump and things like that. So we can see now that the agent has stepped on the gold plate. It's actually unlocked this door. If you saw before, there used to be a little cobblestone block there. Now we've unlocked it, we can move on to the next trial. I could either program my agent to walk from here all the way to the next plate, or, like we talked about before, I can use teleport to player. So I'm going to walk forward, and I'm going to step on this plate so it glows. I'm going to go back to my Scratch, double click on teleport to player, and now I see my agent is right there. That's great. In challenge 2, we're not only going to use the repeat command, but we're also going to use turns. So in the middle of my repeat, I'm going to turn. As you can see, there are 2 answers to this challenge. There's one over here to the left, and there's one over here to the right. Do you have a preference you'd like me to go to?
Let's do the one over there on the right.
The one on the right? You give me the hard one. Okay. So we're going to go back to our agent. We're going to figure out how many steps it has to take forward. Then we know it was a right turn somewhere. And then figure out how many more steps it has to go forward again to get to the gold plate. So you and I both know, because we play Minecraft a bunch, that as we're looking at these blocks, this little down arrow, this little vertical space right here, that means 1 block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I did 6, it would probably stop right here. So I should do a 7th one. So I'm going to go 7. We're going to go back to my Scratch. I'm going to use the same code before, because I like to be industrious and use the same code. So I click into that little text spot right there and type in 7. Then I need to turn right. I'm going to use the same turn right from before. I'm going to move forward a couple more blocks. I need to go 1, 2, 3. Oh look, I already have 3 move forwards. I'm going to go ahead and use those 3 move forwards. I'm not going to use a repeat this time, but just to show you that I can do either side. I'm going to go back to my game, get to a spot where I can see my agent moving around, go into Scratch, double click on it. Now we're going to watch. Oh, I think I messed it up. I'm going to change this 7 to a 6 because I already stepped 1 forward. That's okay. Iterative learning, experimental learning, that's great.
Exactly.
Now we're going to try it again. Watch our agent move forward, turn right, block 3, gold block, lit up, and we moved on to the next one.
Door open.
I'm not going to walk through all of the different challenges today. What I am going to do is I'm going to turn on the May Fly ability. And by doing that, we hit the slash command in Minecraft, hit slash. We're going to start typing in ability. You can see it autofills right there. If I want to, I can hit tab, and it'll fill it automatically for me. I'm going to hit @me, Matt W. I'm going to turn on the May Fly. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and just do @allplayers. Turn on the May Fly. You can see that it autofills for me right there. And I'm going to turn on a true. Most of our abilities they're binary, and so you can say true or false. So for now, I'm going to turn on true.
So can you talk a little bit more about the Mayfly ability and what it allows you to do?
Yeah, so the Mayfly ability is actually going to let me to literally fly through the game. Okay. And I'm going to big screen. I'm going to full screen my game here so everyone can see all the screen. By pressing spacebar twice, like that, I can see that I'm now flying in the air. Holding down spacebar makes you go up, and shift makes me go down. So I'm just going to fly through, hopefully not quickly, but actually physically flying through, and show you the different challenges so I can explain a little bit about how the progression works. So in challenge 1, you saw just the easy move forward, repeat. In challenge 2, you saw the repeat and turn, followed by either more repeat or additional commands. In challenge 3, we're actually going to see 3D movement, so we're going to go up and down and back and forth and things like that. In this challenge, the silver plates will actually move these square plates out of the way, and it allows you to progress to the next spot. If you don't hit the silver plate, you can't continue. On challenge 4, we have a bit more path for you to follow, ups and downs and backwards and forwards and things like that. And the 4 lights at the top, the 4 glowstones, will light up individually as you step on each plate. So plate number 1 will light up light number 1, and so on and so forth. And this challenge is really to show that the agent can, once fly, because it can go up and down and across water. It can go through water, through lava, it doesn't get hurt. So the agent doesn't have any hit points, you can't kill it or things like that. It's always in the world. You don't have to worry about that sort of thing. We're going to head over here around the big tower, and we're going to pass the gate. You can explore that one on your own from home or from school. And the next challenge we have is mining and collecting. So the way the agent works is when it goes through and breaks blocks, the materials pop out just like if you're a player breaking blocks. But it won't collect them automatically. You have to actually tell the agent to collect the materials. So unlike a player, if I break a diamond block, I would collect that diamond. The agent that leaves it behind in case you want to go grab it. So in this exercise, we're actually showing that you can have the agent collect only certain blocks. So on the far right-hand side here, we're asking the students to collect diamond and redstone, leaving the obsidian behind. Maybe the player wants obsidian for themselves, or maybe they have so much obsidian they don't need it anymore. Just kind of keeping that logic path. And for extra credit, at the end, you can pop it into this hopper here, and if you have the right inventory, it'll light up that glowstone. But I'll let you figure that out from home.
And the agent has his own inventory, right?
The agent does have its own inventory, and we'll loop back around at the end, and I'll show you how to open that and how to manipulate that as well. The next challenge is farming. I don't know about you, but I like farming 1 or 2 rows, but then it gets kind of monotonous. And if I want to grow a big farm, or if I want to grow a certain type of crop, I can have the agent do that for me. So in this chest right here, we have all the materials you might need to build a farm, and you can customize it depending on what your favorite fruit or vegetable might be, and all the water you would need as well. And we did that by right-clicking on the chest. What we want the student to do here is actually rebuild the farm on the left in the space on the right. And to do that, you have to do a mixture of break blocks, use items, you have to hoe, you have to plant seeds, and you figure out not only how to use the loops to do that, but also to turn and to come back. And so that was a pretty challenging one.
Yeah.
And that one can take a little bit of time to get to, but once you figure out how to do that, then you can start getting better at your code. So a lot of students do one line at a time. They might walk forward and plant all their crops. And they figure out, oh, my crop is dying because I didn't put water down. Then you got to figure out to start over from the beginning, plant the water and the seed, plant the water and the seed. I guess you're not planting water, but you're putting it down.
Yeah. This is a lot of logical thinking.
Yep. Yeah, that's really what we're looking for, is that computational thinking, how to do things step by step all the way through. If you've ever done the peanut butter sandwich instructions, it's kind of like that. So you don't just start putting peanut butter on bread. You first got to get it out. You got to open the bag. You got to get the bread out, right? And so that's where the farm kind of comes in. The next challenge, you see this big mountain here. It's not just decorational. There's actually function to this mountain. And what we want you to do is go through and actually start collecting all the materials you might need for the next challenge. and the next challenge is going to be a house. So once you've done the farming, you've done the mining, you've done the collecting, now we talk about actually building a structure. And this is where I believe, for me, the agent really shines. Because if I want to build this structure 50 times, I can build the code once and have the agent build it over and over and over again. And that's just amazing, right? So if you didn't happen to collect all the blocks from the mountain, again, there's a chest here that'll give you the blocks that you need. And then you can start, again, like always, on the pressure plate right there, move forward, and build it out. Some people will look at the house already and go, well, where did I get a door from, and where did I get the glass from? Well, that stuff is going to be in your chest right here inside the house. And as you can see, we have a white bed here instead of a red bed, just a little differentiating. So once you've done all those challenges, we've created the proverbial sandbox as a real sandbox. So once the students complete all their challenges, they've built their house, they've mined the materials, they can play in the sandbox. At this point in the game, I actually suggest you move from survival mode over to creative mode. And to do that, you hit your / command, you type in game mode, and you type in creative. And that'll change your game from survival to creative. You can see my hearts went away, my pork chops went away, and if I hit E on my keyboard now, I have access to all the blocks in the game. And I would suggest students just go to town, figure out what they can build, start building patterns, start building other houses you want to build, things like that.
It really helps them solidify the learning that they got earlier on.
Yeah, it does. And now that we're in creative mode, I'm going to head back over to the agent, and we'll talk about how the agent has inventory and how to manipulate that inventory. So I'm already flying, and I know my agent is at the end of challenge 2, right next to this little cute pig. I'm going to go ahead and right-click on the agent, and you can see on the top is the agent's inventory, and on the bottom is my inventory. So if I hit E and I grab some light gray terracotta and some magenta terracotta, I can then right-click on the agent, and I can just drag it up there into their slots. Now the way the agent works, if you're programming them to place blocks or maybe use another inventory, is the top left one is slot number 1. And it counts all the way down to, I believe, 27, because I think there's 9 across. So if you're in Tinker or MakeCode or Scratch and you want to use items, just remember that the top left is number 1 and the bottom right is 27. Do you have any more questions about how the agent trial works or anything like that?
I think that was great. No, awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't touch yet, and I'd like to just give a call
Yeah,
out
please
to
do.
our designer, Cole, is that he likes to watch his creations happening from a distance.
Oh, yeah.
And so he built this little watchtower in the middle, the observation deck, if you will. So you can climb this observation deck, and whether you're a teacher watching a student, a parent, or other students watching each other, you can actually watch the agent do all of the challenges from up here. So whether they're building a farm or figuring out their way to get through lava, you can actually watch from the observation deck.
Cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You want to switch over now, and you do tutorial world, and I'll help moderate.
That sounds great.
All right. So there you go.
All right.
And Melissa's going to go ahead and hit escape to open up our pause menu, and she's going to save and quit. And saving and quitting, you can see on the screen right now, actually saves my trial for later.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in my class session and I only got halfway through, I can save it and continue later. In Scratch, MakeCode, and Tinker, make sure to save your projects individually, because those are not saved in Minecraft World.
Okay. So now I'm going to go to Create New again, and then I'm going to hit Tutorial Volume 2 up here. And it's Volume 2 because, like we said, we take user feedback, we've iterated on this, and so this is the second volume of our tutorial. I'm going to go ahead, creating a new one, and I'm going to hit play.
If you did happen to use Tutorial Volume 1 or your Tutorial World, the new things in this one is what we're going to cover, I think, today.
Mhm.
Right? Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the beginning of the tutorial, we're actually not going to go through all of that, but this is sort of the basic controls that you can use to play Minecraft. And so this is a great way to learn how to maneuver in Minecraft, how to swim, how to place blocks, how to craft things. We're actually going to fly over all of that. So what I'm going to do is hit my escape key, and I'm going to go to Settings,
Okay.
and I'm going to change my game mode to Creative, and that's going to allow me to fly.
Can you explain a little bit about the difference between the default game mode and your personal game mode?
Yeah, so the default game mode is the game mode that's actually changed when you're on that main screen on the front page.
Okay.
And we sort of skipped over that.
Mhm.
And you can see the default game mode is survival. That's the one that is automatically going to take you into when you first start out.
Okay.
The personal game mode is how you change it when you're actually in that world right now.
Okay.
So that's why I'm using this one to change it to creative, because that's going to be what's going to allow me to have the opportunity to fly.
Okay. So even though you're in creative, if I were to join your world, I would come into survival because that's the game mode, but you can
Absolutely.
set that individually per student.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for explaining that.
So I'm going to hit creative, and then I'm going to hit this X here, go back to resume game, And I'm going to double tap the space bar again, rise up and fly over all of this. I'm going to take us to the end of the sort of step-by-step tutorial so that we can see some of the new features that are in Education Edition that make it separate from regular Minecraft.
Great.
So I'm going to fly. Here is the end right here, this little cavern space.
That's the hardest part of the tutorial, is the cavern.
You guys can explore that on your own in your home or school. I'm going to land here on this little lavender path. And I'm doing that by pressing and holding the shift key. So you can see it's called Stage 3 because Stage 1 and 2 are sort of the beginning of the step-by-step tutorial. Here's Stage 3, the open world. So I'm actually going to go around this shelter. There's lots of things in this that allow you to learn about building a shelter, to survive through night. You can learn more about mobs, which are all the different animals in the game. And also some of the different monsters that come out at night. Some farming, furnaces. But I'm going to come over here and show you all of the different educational tools. So I'm going to take this lavender path, go across the bridge here, and come to the beginning. And so one thing you'll see is that even though we're guiding you through this, if you're going to go through it at your home or school, there are actually signs here that explain all of the different features in the game, so you can read those yourselves and figure out how to do all the things on your own. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the camera. And the camera is the way that you can take pictures of things that are going on in the world and record a lot of those things. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you use those for learning objectives?
Yeah, so based on authentic user feedback from our last session, teachers have asked us to give students and teachers a way to capture learning objectives in the classroom. And you're going to explain a little bit about how to take pictures and how things like that work. But this is really the way for teachers to say, yes, you completed this objective, yes, you completed this lesson plan, and that's just a great way to do it.
So we've already got a camera that's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and use it from this distance right here. And I'm going to do that by right-clicking on it. The camera's going to turn towards me, and it'll start flashing.
Like an old-fashioned camera.
I know.
What is that thing?
That's my picture.
Yeah.
So you can see the picture flash up so you can see how you grabbed it. If you want to take another one, we've actually got some here in this chest for you. So I'm going to open it by right-clicking. You can see there's a bunch of different cameras up here. So I'm just going to grab it and drag it down to my hotbar, my inventory bar. X out of that. And I'm going to use it by pressing 1 to get to that on my inventory bar. Back up a little bit, put it here. This time I'm going to take a close-up selfie. So I'm going to get real close to the camera, right-click it again, and it's turning toward me. 1, 2, 3, say cheese. And see, I got a real close-up picture. You can also take pictures of things in the world, so maybe not yourself. So you don't have to use the tripod. You can actually use it in your hand.
Okay.
So I've got a camera in my hand right now. I'm just going to turn around and look at this really nice landscape. I'm going to hold down the right-click button. And you can see the two bars came down from the top and bottom, so you know that you've got the camera. I can pan around to get the exact right shot that I want, and I can even move forward a little bit slowly with the camera if I want.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a picture of this really cool rock formation over here. And I'm
Everyone likes rocks, right?
Right. I'm going to let this right-click button go, and there. I've got a picture of it.
That's a nice little Polaroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to see the pictures that you do have, you can go over to the portfolio, and here's where you can learn about the portfolio section here. So again, like we said, we have signs here. The pics that you take with your camera automatically appear in your portfolio. I'm going to use it by right-clicking on this chest, opening it up. Here's a portfolio right here in the chest.
Convenient.
Very convenient. I'm going to bring it down into my inventory bar again. Instead of that, hit 2 because it's the number 2 slot in my bar. And now I've got it in my hand, so I'm just going to right-click it since I've got it in my hand. Now you can see all the pictures that I've taken. So here's that nice rock formation. Here's my close-up selfie. And then if I click this arrow over here, I've got my little further back selfie.
And it looks like the pictures enter the portfolio almost in reverse chronological order. So the first picture you took is in the back.
Exactly.
And the most recent picture you took is in the front.
Absolutely.
Great.
You can also add captions by clicking down here. So I'm just going to type selfie there. And there you go. I've got captions.
Nice.
You can delete any pictures. Maybe if you made a mistake by clicking down here. And then if you arrow over, you can add more captions as you want. You can also export that portfolio, and it comes into a zip file with all your pictures in it. So that way you can document all the different things that you've done in the game.
And as a JPEG, you can put it in a PowerPoint slide, you can put it in a Word document, you can email it home, you can print it out, all that sort of stuff.
Yep. So it's a great way for the kids to document what they've done in the world and then turn it in with their assignments later on.
What if I take a picture out on life? What do I do with that picture?
You can delete the picture out of the portfolio.
Oh, great. And the little trash can there?
Little trash can down here.
Sweet.
So let's say I wanted to delete my close-up selfie.
A little close, I think.
Yeah. So I've deleted that, and now I've only got 2.
Great.
Now I'm going to back out of this portfolio and show you some more stuff. So we're actually going to go over here and talk a little bit about allow and deny blocks. So allow and deny blocks are some of those teacher control things that we were talking about that gives teachers a lot of ability to control what goes on in the world, right? So the deny blocks do what they sound like. They deny students from doing things in the world.
That makes sense.
Right. So they don't allow students to destroy things in the world, but they can still interact with some things. So
Okay.
for example, here's a bed that I have. I'm actually going to switch over so I have just my hand. And I'm going to try to destroy this bed with my left click. But you can see as I'm clicking on it, I just get this black box and I can't do anything.
No break in the bed for you.
No break in the bed for me. But there's a switch up here that's attached to the glowstone. And if I want to turn that on, I actually can use that. So I'm going to right click and you can see how the glowstone turns on. So it's a great way for me to prevent students from destroying things in the world, but still allowing them to interact with things that I need them to do.
That little black box that appeared when you tried to break things, that is kind of the generic deny, like you can't do this sort of indicator.
It's like, no, you're trying to do something and you can't do it in the world. Yep. So it gives a nice, good visual indicator to students why they can't do something.
Great.
So now I'm going to move over to the little allow block stage here and show you the opposite. So it actually allows students to do things in certain parts of the world. So you can see I've got this bed here. I'm going to try to destroy it, and boom.
Just breaks right away.
Right.
Okay.
And, I can still interact with things like I did before, so I can turn this on.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can talk a little bit about some examples of how teachers could use allow and deny blocks together.
Yeah. So we have one school that was about a 3-story school, and they're rebuilding the whole school on their own. The teacher, as an example, built the first floor of the school on deny blocks as an example to how to build the second and third floor. And they built the roof of the first floor on allow blocks. And the way that works is, in the vertical space above deny, students can't break stuff. But once they put the allow blocks above it, it now made it so the students could build above that one. And then the teacher had the students rebuild floors 2 and 3 on the allow blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of gave them the control in the game to say, I built this space you can't play in, but you interact with walls and doors and lights. Now I want you to do the next portion above that.
Yeah.
So that was that way that teacher could actually say, let's do this together. Here's my example. Now you go.
Cool. So it makes some sections off limits and other sections to play around.
Exactly.
Very cool. All right. So now I'm going to go over to the NPCs over here and talk a little bit about NPCs.
What does NPC mean?
So NPC stands for non-player character.
Okay.
And they're little characters or people that you can put in the game that can act as sort of guides or helpful agents. Not like the code builder agent, but other kinds of agents in the game to explain things to students or link them to resources.
Okay, so maybe like a fictional character or historical character, maybe the teacher themselves.
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah. So you can design an NPC to look like the teacher themselves.
Mhm.
You can design an NPC to look like Alexander Hamilton or George Washington or whatever stage of history you're in. Maybe some fictional characters from books.
When you say designed to look like, you don't mean the actual character themselves. You mean like what they say and what they do and things like that. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so the things that they do, right?
Yeah.
So the way that you can interact with the NPC and see how they do things is by right-clicking on the NPC. You can see here that there's text. If you're a world builder, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, you can actually edit this text and have the NPC say whatever you want to this particular student in the game. So maybe if you want to pass on information about what students are going to do next or what they're supposed to do in order to turn in an assignment, you can put it here on this block.
So if you're not world builder, like you're a student, let's say, this is what you would see, right?
Right. Yep, and you can see I can't click anywhere in this
Okay, good.
to change it, so it won't mess it up for other students to come along on the NPC.
Can't change the instructions.
Exactly.
Right.
Another cool thing about the NPC is that you can actually link students to resources outside of the world. So let's say that there's some resource on the web or a website that you want to link students to. You can actually add a link down here, and students can click on this button, and it'll take them to that link.
Okay. So I see back in the game there, behind this NPC, there's a festive-looking Easter egg, maybe? Can you talk a little bit about what that is?
So that is actually a spawn egg for NPCs.
Okay.
And that's how you can actually spawn NPCs in the world. So you can get that in your creative inventory. It'll actually come up if you're in creative mode. You get a little NPC egg, and you can use it by hitting the right click button on your mouse.
But only if you're world builder.
But only if you're
Okay,
world
got it.
builder, exactly. And then you can spawn NPCs, and that's how you can use them, and then change all of the different text here in this box so students can interact with them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Any other questions about the NPC?
I think the NPC is probably good for now. What's next?
All right. So let's move over in here and talk about border blocks. So you can see some of these blocks have red sparkles going up into the sky, and that's because they're border blocks. And what they do is they prevent students or anybody who doesn't have the world builder ability from going outside of those blocks. So I'm actually going to go in here, and I don't have world builder on right now, and so I can't walk past these blocks. So try as I might, if I'm moving forward with my W key, I can't go past them. And so it's a good way to keep students in a specific area of the world that you want to keep them in if you don't want them to go beyond the borders of what you've set up.
Now we keep saying students as a synonym for world builder or not world builder, but students can have world builder too, right?
Students can have world builder too,
Okay.
exactly. I'm using it sort of a default to talk about teacher-students, but you can give students world builder activity and sometimes ability, and sometimes it's actually a really good thing if you want students to be like a teacher assistant or help you set up a lesson, you want some students to have a little bit more power in the world to do things, you can actually give some students world builder ability as well.
I think before we move on, I think it's a good time to talk about the difference between what we call OP or operator and world builder. So when I create a world, or if you create a world, you automatically become what's called OP or operator, and that is kind of the controller of that world, and so you have all the abilities to do things. And you can give people world builder. You can actually say, I want you to be world builder. You can turn it on for them by using the / commands, or you can turn it on for yourself, because by default you don't actually have it. So you need to turn it on so you can use things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Cool. So now I'm actually going to turn on world builder to show you how we can go through those border blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that /. And as you can see on the sign there, it says I can type WB to toggle the ability. So that's what I'm going to do. Type in WB.
Short for world builder, I imagine?
Short for world builder,
I got it.
exactly. And I'm going to hit enter. So you can see up there in the top left corner, it says my world builder status has been updated to true. So now I'm going to try to go through those border blocks, and now I'm on the other side.
Great. Before we go up the stairs, can you actually hit / again and type in ability? If you want to give a world builder ability to somebody else, this is what you have to do. So you type / ability, hit space, and where you see Matt W on there would be the list of all the players in the game. So you could actually put that person's name in, and then you could type in world builder. So let's go ahead and try it real quick so we can show people at home.
Sure.
So type in just @A is fine. Hit space, and type in world builder. So there you go. So if you want to do it for yourself, it's /WB to toggle on and off.
Right.
But if you want to give it to somebody else, it is a bit longer, but it allows you to give individual students world builder, like you were saying, maybe teacher for the day, group leader, something like that. Then you hit space. There you go. You just turned it on because you did the toggle, but if I was doing it for somebody else, I would have to hit the true, false, things like that. All right, great. Thanks for helping me explain that.
Yeah, of course. Let's go up the stairs now. So there's some other stuff in here. We actually just went through the code builder here. So if you look to the left, there's a little bit more about code builder on this left side here. But because we went through that, I'm going to show you something different. There's also some information about classroom mode here. If you want to learn more about classroom mode, there's a lot of information on the website.
On education.minecraft.net. Or if you happen to be in this world, can you click on the NPC?
Sure.
And I think there's would be a link there.
Yeah.
Great.
So you can read more about here,
Yep.
and then there would be a link here where you can click on and go
Great.
to the classroom mode website.
I think we're going to finish up by talking about boards and slates and posters. Is that our last thing?
Yep.
Awesome.
So I'm going to go to the right here and show you a little bit more about boards. So there's different sizes of boards. You've actually seen a lot of them as we've gone through the world already that have the directions about how to get to the tutorial world. So there's slates, there's boards, and there's posters. And they're basically different sizes with different character limits that you can type in. So if I right click on here, you can actually see there's a box here. I can type in a certain amount of stuff. And because I have World Builder on now, I can actually double click on here and change things if I wanted to.
Great.
And hit OK, and that would help me change things. You can also give that ability to students in the world, right?
Yeah, you can. So you can always have them retell a fairy tale. One of my favorites is retelling the Three Little Pigs. And so you have a world where you have little houses already built, and the students can retell it either as is, or they can make up their own version of Three Little Pigs, maybe where the wolf got in the first time, or never got in, or maybe the pigs are the bad guys. Who knows?
Yeah. This is a great way to give directions and help guide students through lessons that you might have in a world that you built.
Great. And one of the little Easter eggs of boards is if you know how to do colors in text, you can actually do colors in boards as well. So feel free to look online in the wiki, and you can find out how to change text colors. You saw a little bit of text colors in the agent trials. We had orange and green words. So do that to your students. You'll get cool teacher points, educator points, or parent points if you're doing this at home.
All right, fantastic. Is there anything else that we should show them in this tutorial world?
I think you did a great job of showing the tutorial world. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, and if you want to explore some more, you can actually get the tutorial world on education.minecraft.net.
Yeah. Or if you happen to get the game, you can download it as one of our templates in the world. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.